Hey guys, here we are today with Tina Ahrens, and so excited to hear a little bit more as she just finished Ironman Wisconsin and sort of wanted to learn more about her journey and her training and how her day went. So thanks so much, Tina, for coming out and chatting with us.
You're welcome.
So first tell us a little bit more of how you got into running. We all know you as a big runner and person in the running community in our area. Did you run in high school or when did you start running?
I never ran in high school. I started running actually when I lived in Hawaii as a traveling nurse in my early 20s. And one day I was sitting on the beach and I said, you know what, I'm going to run around Diamond Head.
Oh, wow. I know that run well.
So in the 6 months that I lived there, I finally got around the 6 miles around Diamond Head. And then I ran on and off in my 20s. And then it wasn't until I was 39 when I started running consistently and ran my first marathon, the Chicago Marathon. And then I just loved running and got a passion for it and haven't stopped since.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about the group that you run with Performance Runners. I know you guys have a huge marathon group, and all I hear is how wonderful it is to have the support and the coaching. And so how did that sort of come to be, and how do you get involved with it?
Well, it started out we were associated with another running club, and then we just branched off because we decided to go on a different path, and then the other running club. So we branched off from them, and we're out on the Great Western Trail every Saturday morning, and we train people for the Fox Valley Marathon, a local race here, Chicago Marathon, Naperville, and all the other fall marathons that kind of fall into those plans. Over the years, we've grown by word of mouth. We're a supported group. We always put water and Gatorade out on the trail. It's an out and back trail, and I think that's what helps when you have a supported run.
Right.
And we're a very social group. The social aspect, I also think, brings the people back,
right,
brings the runners back, especially in the winter when we're not training for a race. It's more of our downtime, but we still get together on Saturdays. And then after we run our anywhere between 6 to 10 to 12 miles, then we all go out afterwards for coffee and just hang out and get to know each other. And I think that's what really helps bring the group together. Yeah,
knowing that you've got people with you. And I love how you coach it, but it's not like hardcore coaching, but you guys, I think, are such great resources to all the people out there. And
yeah, we have different pace groups, and we have pace leaders in those pace groups, so people feel comfortable if they can either run with the pace group or in between, because we have people who are in between as well. And as long as they feel that there are people out there and they're supported, I think it helps them feel confident.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're not a cutthroat, die hard. You run it comfortable at your pace.
Right.
If you want to get faster, during the week we have speed runs. We have midweek long runs, and then we also do hills. So we have a coach or coaches that will meet with those runners at certain places around the Tri-City area and work with those people who want to perform better at another race.
Okay.
But we strive to have fun.
Yay.
I mean, that's the whole thing behind us. We strive to have fun, and we make it fun so it doesn't feel like it's a job.
Right.
So.
And how do you get involved with that if you want to start running with you guys?
You can go online to Performance Running. It's pr-performancerunning.com.
Okay, and I will link the link below this video. So if anybody has more questions, I think Tina's group is Performance Runners. You see you guys everywhere, and have helped so many people to strong marathon finishes. So on to triathlon. When did you decide you wanted to do triathlon?
Oh, you know what? I met a friend, a neighbor, Christy Nutter.
Oh, Christy! I did not know that.
Yeah.
Christy is awesome.
Several years ago, we lived in the same neighborhood.
I was just emailing with her today. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw her. She around the neighborhood. She was training, and she was talking about Ironmans and what she was doing. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. I've done so many marathons.
Right.
Maybe this is another aspect of sport that I might like. So I did a couple of Olympics. First one I did not enjoy.
What happened?
Swimming was not my forte. I drank a lot of lake water. So
Isn't
then,
that the story?
So after that, I got that total immersion disc in the book, and for a whole winter practiced on my own. Just learned to swim, to bilateral breathe on my own, and I just got more confident with the Olympics. And I did the halves. And then I finally said, you know what, I want to do the whole thing. It took me a couple years to get into the full. I did have an injury, so that put me back a year.
Okay.
So I had a knee operation, so that put me back a year.
Right.
And so finally, my race finally came to fruition this year, and I love it. I will do another one, hopefully.
Oh, you will?
Hopefully.
Well, that's a good thing to hear. And I think what the neatest thing was watching you through this journey was how dedicated you were to your goal. You rode 3 times a week. You did the training. You made the goal. You put it out there. And it wasn't, maybe I'll get to this week. You hit that training. And you hit it hard. And that was really fun to watch. How hard was it to really give that much dedication to a goal?
It didn't really sink in. The hardness of it didn't sink in until until I moved into a new home over the summer and started back to work full time. Otherwise, I worked part time, and it was easier for me to do the workouts while the kids were in school and my husband was at work, so I can dedicate my time to my family when they were home from school and from work. Once we did the move, the workouts got a little less.
Right.
And then once I started back up to work again, the workouts got less. But I think because I hit the training hard in the beginning, starting last November, and just conditioned myself, I think that's what really helped. Yeah. And I think this is just from my experience, laying low the last really 2 months, not training as hard as I did the first 8 months.
Yeah.
Resting my body, I think that helped me through the race because I rested my muscles.
You really were tapered for that day.
I tapered, and I hit a workout when I could hit a workout, and even on the days that I moved, when we were moving, I did hit some good. I did get several more 100-mile bike rides in, but I think that conditioning through the winter, especially at the biking, really, really prepared me for the race.
Yeah. Yeah, and you rode 3, sometimes
4.
Oh, did you ride 4 classes?
Sometimes.
4 classes. And of course, not to promote our wonderful center, but there's a reason why we both spend so much time there.
Right.
Is there's nothing like being on a CompuTrainer.
Right.
On
your own bike.
On your own bike, on a CompuTrainer, and those classes that are just so dialed in. I think that's just so key to get those bike hours in off season.
Yeah, especially on Sundays, and after running long miles on Saturday and then coming to the bike class on Sundays, and
our aerobic.
Yep. Working up my hours on tired legs. I think it was detrimental to my training.
Yeah.
So I think it really, really helped. So.
Yeah, the 6-hour trainer rides where we got a lot of movies in.
I got a lot out of it. I mean, I've never been in such better shape in my life at 49 than I was at 19. I mean, come on. And to say at that age going, wow, look what I just did. Come on, it's just makes you feel good. It makes you really feel good.
100%.
Yeah.
So sort of to go then through your season, then you did Muncie 70.3. And how did that go, or how did that prepare you, or what did you learn from that to take into Ironman?
Oh, compared to Racine, it was a much better race. The roads were fantastic. I think over the years, I was excited that I was able to take 10 minutes off my half Ironman time from last year.
Big.
So
when you get to the level that you're racing at, 10 minutes is a lot of time.
So we had a perfect day though too. The elements were perfect. The weather, the swim was beautiful. The bike was flat. There was no wind. The run was hilly, but I trained for hills, and you do it. You just do it. And my favorite part of the whole race is running, because I love running. That's
well,
my background.
Because your strength is running. So out of that 10 minutes you took off, where did the majority of that time come from? Which sports?
I want to say on that race it was probably the biking. The biking
Nice.
and the running, not the swimming.
The swimming's just about earning the right to get on your bike, right? For those of us who didn't grow up in a pool.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then you moved and tapered and you got to Ironman. So I think it was a little challenging for you even that weekend of, right? You had a family event that you had.
A couple of family events.
Family events that you're trying to get your race day that you trained for a year for. And you're still, I think that just shows your dedication to your family, you know, and to the sport, and how you managed to get that all in and still have a fabulous race day.
Yeah, I mean, when I found out that I had to be at an anniversary celebration on Friday night, I just said, well, I'll go up Thursday and get all my stuff. And you know what? I look back at it, I'm kind of glad I did that, because then I wasn't sitting up there worrying, getting nervous, going, oh my God, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and listening to the other athletes talking about their training and what they did to prepare. So I was kind of glad I was back at home so I could tune that out and not focus on, oh my God, I'm not ready for this, and realize I was ready for it, and that I'm going to just make the best day of it as I can. You know, I worked hard,
you did.
Very hard for it, and I wasn't hard on myself either when I missed a workout. I was just like, you know what, it's just the time I have to get this type of workout in. I got it in. It's just gonna help later in the race, and I think it all did.
And you know what? I think that's a lot of experience. I think experienced athletes are much better at realizing, you know what, I got 3 hours of sleep last night because I was up with my kid. Guess what? It's probably not good for me to do a run today. Or, you know, not trying to make that up. And so I think probably, you know, all that experience from all those marathons, you know, I think it's just such a strength going into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so race day. So what was that swim like, the mass swim? Where did you position yourself, and was that a good call?
You know what? I don't know. I was glad I got in with my friend Heather, because her and I, we did a lot of our workouts together, and we got to start together.
Fabulous, isn't she?
Yes. Oh my God. Thank God for her, because her and I, we stuck together like glue. A lot of our century rides together, and we, you know, really helped each other out. Well, she helped me out. I don't know how much I helped her out, but just, you know, talking about our workouts, talking about our strengths, encouraging each other, you know, keeping ourselves lifted for each other. So that helped. So when we were able to start the swim together, it was really nice, because we're both sitting there waiting in the water going, okay, we want to go this side of the boat ramp or this side of the boat ramp? Realizing that there are still 1,000 people getting in the water. I'm like, we need to go to the other side of the boat ramp because it's going to be crowded here. So we kind of positioned ourselves in the middle of the pack on the left side.
So on the left side
of the boat ramp.
So near, sort of towards the middle of the lake.
Right. Okay. So we're towards the middle of the lake. Because I saw all these people coming in, I said it's gonna stay crowded there. So
you know what, the gun's getting ready to go off, and there's still like hundreds of people trying to get in the water. And just sort of a FYI, this year there was what, 2,900 or 3,000,
something like that,
close to 3,000 athletes. So if you can think about, I don't know how many feet wide it is, but it's not 3,000 people wide.
No.
And so it's a mass start. And it is pretty crazy to watch. Did you feel like you got tumbled and pummeled and pushed around?
I felt like I was in a washing machine the entire time.
The entire time?
Pretty much, definitely the beginning. The middle kind of spread out a little bit, but not much. And then when you turn to come into that last stretch, it was just, I've never experienced on a half Ironman before, but it was just so many people just racing and swimming as hard as they could to get out of the water. So that, and I think the waves were coming in a little bit too. So the wind started to pick up, and it would just really, literally felt like you were in a washing machine. You were just trying to, I just wanted to get to the finish, because people were just coming in and you were getting sandwiched. I noticed that. So it was pretty tough. I swallowed a lot of water.
Oh dear.
But I was happy. I actually took 5 minutes off my time, because I did the Madison Open water swim in August. And to take 5 minutes off my time made me feel really good.
Oh my gosh, to get out of the water.
Yeah. So when I saw the clock, I was like, oh, really? I did that? Wow.
Now, did you find anything that helped you while you're swimming that was more beneficial to you, or just sort of getting the confidence once you got going to know that you were going to do well?
I don't know if
Well,
my
you
time was
did well.
I did 5 minutes faster, but swimming is not, like I said, is not my strength at all. So I did what I could do to get to the end, and I sighted a lot. I do a lot of sighting because I
Okay.
look for buoy to buoy, and I think more people need to sight. Because I'm sorry, people run over you because they're not sighting.
Right, right. No,
That's how I feel.
that's a really good point, and that they are swimming, so not only are they hitting you and bouncing off
They're
like pinballs,
blinding. They're swimming
and
blindly.
they're swimming blindly, and they're losing so much time
Yep.
from
Right.
doing that.
And they go like this, whereas you
Just swim,
you
swim.
do. But I just, I made sure I did a lot of sighting to keep myself straight, and when you do the sighting, you can see if people are coming in. So
Right.
I think it helped.
And when you say a lot of sighting, like every third breath or every sixth, every eighth?
Every third.
Wow.
Yeah, I do a lot because, I don't know about you, I kind of panic in the water, so I have to come up for that breath,
Right.
and
It works for you.
yeah, that's what
Does
worked for
that
me.
bother your neck at all when you do that?
No. Put a lot of goo, and I put a Band-Aid on it because in the previous I did, but this time I prepared for it by putting a lot of Glide on there, so I would, because those wetsuits, they can really dig into your skin.
It's more like the motion. I don't know. Sometimes when I sight a lot, I get out and I'm like, oh, my shoulders are stiff.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's fabulous. Now, what did it feel like to run up the Helix?
Fun. I actually thought it was I wish I had a little more clothing on.
Were you cold at that time?
Not at all. I thought I was going to be really cold coming out of the water because the air temperature was colder than the water temperature.
Yeah.
But actually, I was fine, and I was kind of curious what I was going to wear on the bike because I had 2 shirts. Either I had one with sleeves or a tank, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to put the tank on. And from previous riding times, I always would put a jacket on because I was so cold.
Right.
Not even a mile into the bike, I'd always be taking it off because I was so
Right.
hot. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wear the tank, and I was comfortable.
Oh, good.
I actually was very comfortable the
And
rest of the bike and the run.
Was it in the 60s, I think, when you started?
The air temperature was 48 degrees when we started.
Oh, was it that cold?
It
Yeah, it was. I had a heavy jacket on.
Yeah, it was, and the water temperature was 70. So we were pretty lucky in that. So,
really.
but when we got out of the water, I mean, it definitely warmed up. It was probably around close to 60 degrees already, but I was warm. Surprisingly, I was warm.
Okay, well that's really good to know. And then you're on your bike. How did it feel to get on your bike? Did it take you long to sort of settle in, or?
No, actually, I felt really good. The first loop.
Aren't
The
those
first loop felt
classic?
really good. But yeah, got comfortable on the bike right away. I've never did the stick out to the course, and the course I went up quite a few times this summer to ride it, so I would be comfortable with it. So it just felt like it took forever to get out there, and it did. After I looked at my time, I'm like, oh my god, it was almost an hour. I'm like, it's going to be almost an hour in, and I know how long it takes me on the loops. I'm like, oh, there goes my time on the bike, and I knew it was going to be 6.5 to 7 hours, and of course I was right in the middle, so I was happy with that.
Yeah.
But
That's a hilly course.
Yep.
And I think you're always 100% smarter to be conservative on the bike, especially when you're a runner and you can do well.
And that's your strength.
And that's your strength. So how about the hills with all the people cheering? I think that's just the most phenomenal course.
I'll be honest with you, thank God for my friends on those hills who saw me because I didn't see them.
We were screaming.
Oh, I think you guys are all surprised to see me because I was surprised to see you and Maureen and Janine. But it was so great to see all you guys because it lifts your spirits and go, oh my God, I'm doing this. I can do this. I can finish this. And then I had a lot of my running friends there, Chris, Tilton, and Mark, and Emily, and Michelle. They were all on the other side. And
oh, that's
just
really
them,
nice to have on both sides.
So when you hear your name and you hear them cheering for you, it really lifts your spirits and it really makes you want to work that much harder. And it's like, wow, I got up that hill so much easier than when I did it on the training when there was nobody there.
There's just something about having those people out for you.
Oh,
and I think it's just like my favorite day all year.
It is. It was a great. It was just a great feeling having them there. And then what was really cool is at the end of my bike ride when I saw my son and his girlfriend, right before I got into the center. It was a pleasant surprise, and it made me feel even better that they got to at least see me on my bike. Yeah. So I was happy to see them there. So.
Aww. And then how did it feel transition? Did you feel like you got through transition well? And...
Yeah, quicker from the bike to the run than the swim to the bike, because you have to put everything on for the bike. Whereas on the run, you just strip it all off, and I just put on shoes. I left my clothes on. You used to use the same clothes. Yeah. I brought extra just in case because I wasn't sure. I'm like, do I want fresh running clothes? Right. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm fine. I'm comfortable. Let's just hope I don't chafe. And I just kept going.
Great.
And I felt good coming out of the bike onto the run. I always was comfortable. I never had felt funny.
Right.
You know, I mean, years ago, yeah, but now that, you know, I did a lot of experience. Yeah, the brickworks helped a lot. So it was good.
Yeah. It was good. How did you pace right off the bike? Did you start off
too fast? Too fast. Just like in training, too fast.
Just like in training.
The first 2 miles was a bit fast, so I finally dialed it back. And then I met up with this guy from South Dakota. We started gabbing and talking, and I'm one of those, once you start talking, you go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So the first, probably, and then when I started talking to him, the next several miles was, you know, a quicker pace than I wanted it to be. But I felt good. I felt comfortable.
You looked fabulous.
So, but, you know, there were moments in the race where you had to walk. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You had to walk. And I, from another friend of mine who has done 2 Ironman, she's like, she even said, she goes, you're not going to want to walk, but your body says you're walking. And right. You do, because it's just, you have worked out for so many hours, your body just says, you know, just walk for a little bit, just right. Recover your muscles and get a little bit of nutrition in you, and then you can go again, and you can.
Right. So how did you manage that? Did you walk water stops, or did you sort of have in your mind how long you were going to walk, or how did you decide what you were going to do?
Definitely walked the water stops because you needed to get the nutrition in. Okay. I was noticing that, especially the second loop. The first loop I was fine. I was like, you know, I need to get some food in me. I had no problems with sodium. I had no problems with cramping. But I realized my glucose was going down. I know my sugar levels. Woo! Yeah. So I was definitely working on eating those pretzels, and I started drinking cola because my body said you needed sugar. I didn't need any more sodium. I just needed sugar. So I finally...
There's something about that carbonation, too. Yeah. It just...
And I don't drink cola, but... That was the best cola. Like cola. I don't drink cola on a regular basis. But that day, I had 3 glasses, and it helped me get to the finish line.
You know what? So actually, let me back up a little bit. How about, what was your nutrition plan on the bike? So obviously, for you to have such a great run, whatever you did on the bike must have worked really well.
Well, to be honest with you, when I was training, I trained differently than everybody else. I trained not to eat a lot or drink a lot on the bike, and same with the run. I trained in a slightly dehydrated state, and with less nutrition, knowing that I'm going to be doing this race and racing for several hours, that my body is going to be depleted. So I depleted it on purpose so that if there was something to happen, my body already knew what to do if it was in that state. So I didn't have to eat as much on the race.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I'll have to share some of the works by Phil Maffetone, who really works on, especially with his pro athletes, he can get their calorie intake down by about 30%. And he feels a lot of their success is based on that, because your gut can only absorb so many calories. And especially at Ironman distance racing, you max that out.
Well, yeah. And I think if you eat too much when you're training your body that it needs that. So when it gets, even if it's depleted a little bit, it starves, and so you feel like you're not going to be able to perform, or you won't be able to perform because your body's starving for that little bit that you don't have.
Right.
Whereas if you train...
But don't go out and just not eat anything.
No. I still had food. I mean, I had...
No, not you. To anybody who's
listening.
You
know, I still had my Gatorade. I still had my water. I had wafers, I had Fig Newtons, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, of course. That's, you know, you got to have those. That was my first loop. That was my biggest concern. I was like, couldn't wait to get to the special needs bag and get my peanut
butter and jelly.
I couldn't eat that quick enough. And it was only a half. I wanted a full. So, but that's okay. It got me through.
Yeah.
So, and then I just started eating more on the second loop because of the ride of the bike, because I noticed I was, feeling it. But I didn't need to eat a lot. All of a sudden, it's like you ate a little bit. It was like, oh, and I just kind of perked up and kept going. Yeah. Same with the run. I mean, the first loop was fine. The second loop, I needed to eat a little bit more and had to walk more, unfortunately, through the water stops. But that was part of the race. Got to meet a lot of great people. There was a lot of people were walking, so you just walked and talked, and it was great.
I think that people don't understand. You think of Ironman and these people at like these, all-out paces, and then you go, and when you're out there, not on State Street, but when you're out there, I don't want to say majority, but I sort of want to say majority of people are walking, right?
But a lot of them are.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, that's great. That's what gets you your best time and gets you your finish.
Because I think the walking helps, because you're recovering a little bit and you run a little bit faster. I mean, I never went back and looked at all my splits, but from my friends and my husband, they're like, "You're doing 11:30s, and all of a sudden you're doing 8s." We couldn't understand what you were doing, we couldn't figure out. I said those 11s were through the water stops, but because I rested enough, I felt good to run quicker. So, and that's just, it helped. And I probably had a lot more in me. I could have probably pushed it a little bit harder on the bike and the run to do a faster time. But you know what? This was my first one. And
and not only that, you might not have.
Right.
And you could have had an hour longer. And we see that with so many athletes.
So, and this was like I said, this was my first Ironman, and I really wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to take everything in. I wanted to meet other people and enjoy, talk to them and enjoy
the day.
Exactly, and enjoy the spectators, because not only did I see you guys on the bike, I saw you guys on the run.
Yeah.
And it just, like I said,
we took pictures.
Oh yeah, got a selfie. I was like so excited. I'm like, I got a selfie on my Ironman.
I know. I was like so excited to see you.
You were the most excited person ever. And you would have thought I was winning the race. The way I was like, oh, did I win? She's like, how excited she is.
I know, but to see you out there, like you were fresh as a daisy. Like I just would have never guessed that you had done all that, because it was almost like you had makeup on. Like I see you, and it's like you're not even sweating, and everything's perfect. Everybody else is like salt loaded, and I was like, Tina!
I think I surprised a lot of people with my time too.
What was your marathon time?
12:59:43. My Ironman time was 12. Yeah, but there was I think I surprised a lot of people that I could do that.
Don't you love that?
Because a lot of people are like, you finished when? And I was like, well, my goal was 12.5 to 14 hours. So I finished exactly where I wanted to finish. So I was happy with that.
I am super impressed.
So for a 49-year-old woman, I don't think that's too bad.
I think you absolutely rocked it.
I think it's too bad.
And how you did it. You trained smart, you raced smart, and you enjoyed it. And that's the thing I think a lot of people miss, is that I think you had the best time by doing it that way. You could have been like dialed into like training by yourself because you had to get exactly this in or that, and then just pushed yourself to the limit, and you probably would have blown up.
Yeah.
And it would have just been a different race for you. And I think that you had the best time this way. So I think it's just a great example for everyone out there. Train hard, train smart, and have fun. Right?
And the whole point is to have fun, because you're not going to win. I knew that going. I'm not going to win. It's not about
Come
winning.
on, Tina.
Oh yeah, right. It's not about winning. It's about being able to see how you can push your body to the limits.
Right.
And how you can bounce back as well. And the whole point is enjoying it.
Right.
Embracing it and enjoying it, because if you don't enjoy it, then why are you doing it?
Why are you out there?
I mean, you got to enjoy. And I think if you enjoy it, you're going to finish at a faster time, because it's just, hey, I'm out here having a great time, and you perform better.
Right.
And I think being a coach, and I've been trying to relay that to my athletes as well, is saying, hey, you know what? If you're having fun, you're going to perform well. You're going to perform well. Granted, you got to work. If you want to go faster, come to the speed works, do the speed work, but you're going to perform well on race day, and you're going to enjoy it.
You put the time in. You put the time in, and okay. And what was the finish line like?
You know what? It was actually a blur, because I saw my family, and then I turned back to give them all a big hug and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden I was across the finish line, and I think it was too fast. I want to go back and go in slow motion across the finish line. It's like I worked so hard to get there, and then it was like it's a big blur because all of a sudden you had these people grab you, and you just wanted to sit down. They're like, no, you can't sit down. You got to go. I'm like, because also when you stopped, it's like I felt like all the acid in my stomach just came up. I just felt very nauseous. That was the first time through the whole race I felt sick like that. And I'm like, because you just completely stopped after 13 hours of continuous exercise. Your body's like, what do you mean you stopped? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make this.
Too good right now.
So once I got my protein shake in me, I was fine.
Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine putting a protein shake in.
Well, it was just a little one. I couldn't eat anything. I was not hungry, but that's all I needed. I looked for it. My son had that. I'm just have
Give
that.
me the drink.
Just have me for me at the end of the race, and I'll be very happy. And I was. The nausea went away, and then I sat there and I was talking to everybody, and wow, I just did this. It was really great. I saw you guys. I saw everybody, and everybody who came to see me was at the finish line. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
So it was a good finish.
So that's just so fun.
I'm so excited.
And then I think this is one of just caps off your story so well. Tell us about how you felt the next day. Or 2 days later, I think I saw you.
I actually felt very good.
Who says that after Ironman?
I did not. I mean, I had some spots that were sore, but I was able to walk. I was fine. I was fine. I did not feel like I got ran over by a Mack truck like a lot of my friends described. I was fine. I was worried about going to work on Tuesday.
And I think you called me from work on Tuesday.
And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm doing great. I got home Monday. I went for a long walk. I drank a lot of protein and ate a lot of protein that day. Yeah. And I think getting that protein in to help those muscles repair
is really key.
Yeah, it's really key. I didn't do an ice bath as much as I wanted to. I was like, nope. And I believe in ice baths. I really do, and I promote them. But I felt fine.
Wow.
So
I think that just says a lot about your training and how prepared you were, too. When you sort of cut that a little short, I think it's a lot more painful, right? Just like marathons or anything else.
So,
very cool.
So I'm excited. I got an Ironman in me, and I'm hoping maybe another one someday. Not soon.
Not soon? So what are you going to do next season?
Next season is Boston.
Boston.
I just got in. I got accepted.
Yay,
I'm going to
congrats.
Boston. Yep. And then I'm not sure about any halves or no full Ironman extra. I need to spend some time in my new house.
Yeah.
And get my new house, situated, because it's not where I want it to be right now, because I just don't have time.
Well, that's like an Ironman garden or anything else, right? That's what
everything got put aside because of Ironman. Yeah. So and now
it was worth it.
Oh, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. I'm glad I can say it. I'm an Ironman.
Yes, and you are. Well, that's really neat, and thanks so much for sharing with us. I think it's so fun to hear about others' journeys, and what you did and how you got there.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so inspiring to watch you from day one, and just how you did it. That's what I love about it.
Thank you.
Could not be more proud, impressed, and just elated for you, Tina.
Thank you. I think you were the happiest one out of everybody, even my family.
I know how hard you worked. I saw you day in, week in, and week out, paying your dues.
Yep.
And not everybody does that. And I think that's just the key to Ironman is, putting the hours in.
Yeah.
And the consistency, right?
And I knew that from the get-go, I needed to get the hours in. It was more hours than miles.
Right.
And that's something different from marathon racing to being a triathlete is we put in the miles on marathon training, whereas you put in the hours in triathlon training.
Right.
So I figured that out early on, and I did. I put in the hours.
You did.
I made sure I put in the hours.
Yay! Well, we can't wait to watch you do another one, and of course, good luck in Boston.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks guys for joining us, and once again, you can look down in the little description and get the link to Tina's running group with Performance Runners. They would love to have you join them, and thanks for joining us.